Well, we have with us Mr. Ramkumar Venkatesan, Senior VP Engineering Cash Free Payments. And we also have joining us in this very interesting conversation, Mr. Vikram Mulye, Director, Product Marketing, SMB, India and South Asia at Lenovo India. Well, it's a pleasure to have both of you here in this very interesting conversation. Let's get to discussing and answering some very pertinent questions. So let me begin by asking Mr. Venkatesan. So what, according to you, are the top IT challenges that you foresee going forward?
The top IT technology challenges, right? So the top IT challenges, I think the building products and technology products are becoming easier with a lot of cloud products such as infrastructure as a service, right? SaaS and all these products make building other products so much easier. So the barrier to entry of new companies into the technology space is getting lower, which is great, right? So which means innovation can happen at a much higher rate, but that is a challenge also, right? Whatever head start maybe some companies have, the other companies can catch up, right? So one of the big challenges, how do we keep continuously innovating and staying ahead of the market, building great products, right? The second thing is a lot of automation is going to come, not just in the technology teams, but across the entire enterprise, right? Whether it's HR, marketing, risk or finance or any of these teams is going to be tech enabled, right? So the companies that are going to take that really forward and solve all those things are going to be successful at the end. Right? And as tech becomes ubiquitous in all these different departments and different BUs and different functions, the sanctity and the security of the information becomes very, very important, right? So we are getting more and more regulations and all, which is good. But I think that's a very key challenge that has to be sorted, right? The customers are trusting their data with us, and that has to be kept very, very sacrosanct and safe, not fall into the wrong hands, whether insiders or outsiders. So security is very important. Lastly, I think the challenge for across maybe the tech industry is as more and more tech comes and it's more and more easy to build tech products, there is what is the effect on the earth as well, right? So how do we make all our things more green, right? Consume the less energy where possible, and right, we all know about the patterns that are happening in the climate change, and how can we not tech add to that problem, but how can tech solve that, right? So I think all these things are going to be key challenges for IT and tech.
Indeed. Well, thank you for highlighting those some very pertinent and very important, crucial challenges that we are facing, and hopefully we find solutions to soon. Thank you so much. And now I'd like to turn to Mr. Vikram Mulye. So, what about you? What, according to you, are the major IT challenges going forward?
Sure. Thanks, Dipti, for having me, and thanks for that question. What I'll do is I'll pick up from what Mr. Ramkumar said. I think I could relate to it as a Lenovo perspective, as an IT enabler. The challenges which you mentioned about deploying technology for automation, for building new products and supporting businesses. I think the challenge for us as IT vendor is how do we build products and softwares and services which can enable that. And while I come to that, I'm sorry, two other points which I could 100% relate to is the point which you mentioned, one about security. I think that's a challenge which we keep on hearing from our customers, that how do we make devices both on the client and enterprise side more secure, especially because of the hybrid work environment which you're talking about. And the second part also, which is an interesting and different perspective which Mr. Ramkumar brought in, is about being green. How do you really contribute to the environment rather than taking away from it? And that's a challenge which we also internally face. So that's something where our supply chain team works on building up products and solutions and softwares which are more eco-friendly, which are better in terms of packaging or the manufacturing footprint really. But on the first point also, I think from a pure device perspective, it's clearly about having better and more mobile devices which can be remotely managed. I think that's something where we are enabling our customers with. And the other thing is from the infrastructure group, which is also part of Lenovo. How do we really build enterprise infrastructure which can help our customers deploy their business softwares or automate their businesses faster? Those are the challenges those are the changes, I would say, which we are seeing in the next few years.
Absolutely, sir. Very well said. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts on some very important issues. Once again, I thank you both for joining us on this chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Mr. Ramkumar Venkatesan, Senior VP Engineering Cash Free Payments, and Mr. Vikram Mulye, Director Product Marketing, SMB India and South Asia at Lenovo India. And to all our viewers who are enjoying this conversation, stay tuned because we will be back with many more stories. This is the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories.